Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom. Giving honor and praise unto the Most High, the Creator, the Maker of heaven and earth. My name is Yeshaya Yisrael of the tribe of Dan of the nation of Israel. This particular presentation, brothers and sisters, we do not intend for it to be long. Nonetheless, brothers and sisters, we do intend to bring this out to the people for reasonable purposes, if we will. We hope and pray that everybody is well and will be better. And in light of that, we ask you all to comment, to like, share, and subscribe, brothers and sisters, to the platform and to the channel. This, brothers and sisters, is on the Facebook page, Yeshaya Danite, Historian Yisrael, as well as the YouTube pages, Mori Yeshaya Torah Lessons and Mori Yeshaya History Lessons. So we know it may be an unusual time, but we definitely, nonetheless, wanted to get this out to the people, if we will. We call, brothers and sisters, this one here, needing a break. I had to get away. Now, for those who are following, you will know that recently I took a short trip to go out of the city, and it was very much needed. Now, not to get too personal, I decided to do it as an individual. I decided to not tell anyone per se before I did it in that particular case, and just making that move in that particular manner. So, what can be ascertained and gleaned, say, from that particular matter, if we will, is this. I told relatives, loved ones, family, no coworkers, that I'm going to do this after it was already done and while I was already traveling. And I noticed some of the responses that I got back. And as it says in the Apocrypha, test a friend and be not hasty to credit him. So, in other words, sit there and see what it is in somebody's view of you, or so. Are they happy that you decided to sit there and make a short individual move that doesn't hurt anybody whatsoever? That you're not asking, saying, hey, can you sit there and do this for me so I can get this accomplished? No, on the human level, you was doing everything on your own, brothers and sisters, in this particular case. And you will begin to see something that I just ran into in a meme this morning, which I'm going to show for reference purposes. Let us pull it up, brothers and sisters, and get into this. Thank you all for the time. Shalom, giving honor to the Most High. Let us take a look, family. Signs you need a break. Losing interest in things you're usually passionate about and bring you joy. Let's look at that, brothers and sisters, for reference purposes, if we will, right? I had to take it into myself and see, does this apply to me? And I can only do that with having a clear mind. I can't go in with a set mind, which leads to a prejudicial mind, because prejudice means that you prejudge it. So you already have a solution or an idea. You can't go into anything and gain anything from something with that kind of thought. It's kind of like when somebody listens or hears whatever terminology he wants to use just to wait for the other person to finish speaking to comment. It's like, go on, yeah, now this. So that means he or she was not even attempting to understand where another's coming from, even if the other person has to be rebuked or corrected in love. Even if the person, whoever the person is saying that, just to use an example, chicken isn't meat. Now you know good and well that chicken is meat. But if you are ready to just rebuke the person without hearing what the person is attempting to state, is stating, even though the stance of the person is incorrect, your sentence afterward is going to come off as offensive. You're not going to come in love and respect. You're going to come off in that particular matter because you already have a preconceived thought. And what I realized in my outing yesterday from people that I didn't tell no one in the world I was going to do it, and then found out because I text several people, but that was already after I was on the bus. That was already after I had sat there and got to the destination I wanted to be. Now I see where one stands with one, where one stands with some. Some of the comments that I've gotten back was, "Oh wow, you didn't let me know." Um, these are some of the people that when I say good morning, as a brother is used to doing, is like, it's too early. Yeah, oh wow. If it's too early for you to get a good morning, then when it is on time to get it or give it, then you can give it back. You don't have to respond back to a good morning negatively, brothers and sisters. See, we pick and choose this kind of thing. And I'm not the biggest fan of Chris Rock, but he did make a point on Netflix about selective anger, if I'm not misquoting what the man was talking about. Will Smith's wife slept with somebody else, but a man sister makes a joke and then you reach out and then you hit him. So you have selective revenge or selective matters with that. See, if somebody is saying, for instance, good morning, and your response is negative to that, saying it's not morning, you ain't up yet, then why not wait until you do get up to sit there and be able to have the better spirit to respond back to such? That right there, brothers and sisters, could be the reason why Dathan and Abiram got killed in the scriptures. You understand? I am not perfect, and I begin to sit back and see, as it says in the Apocrypha, test a friend and be not hasty to credit. Sit back and see and ask people what is thought. But don't, while sitting back and seeing, stay back. Because when you already know that it's no time to go back and forth, you got to leave some behind while you move forth. But it's not a thing of deliberate, like, forget you kind of thing. It's making yourself a priority. And anyone who has any kind of love or respect for you wants the same for you. When I was a teacher in a school, brothers and sisters, there was a person, there was a brother that was heavy, heavy, heavy into the matter of science. Brothers and sisters. Now, personally, that's not my particular passion, but it's not about my particular passion. It's about whether or not I can sit there and be of assistance to another person. So I put the brother on to a matter of, here's a publisher if you want to go that way, if you want to sit there and get your book out. And what I've learned is, in like reading the scriptures, correct me if I'm wrong, when Joseph told his brothers about telling his father about his fame in Egypt, maybe he knew that his brothers just could never be happy for him. That I actually, quote, made something of myself, that I actually succeeded in something. No, you so guilt-ridden or self-centered to where you can't even be happy for the person who you oppressed, who you disrespected, being able to sit there and get from under your yoke. That is deep, brothers and sisters. That's when you know you need that time for oneself. Now, how does that apply to what we just read here? Losing interest in things you're usually passionate about and bring you joy. Take myself, for instance, loving to teach history, loving to go over Hebrew, loving to sit there and link up with brothers and sisters and so forth, online or offline. You find yourself being secluded. You find yourself being maybe a mental hermit. I'm going to just separate myself. But the Proverbs talks about those kind of things in Proverbs 18, verse 1. But it also talks about in Proverbs 18:19 about the brother offended. So you got to sit there and do the law that speaks upon rebuke your neighbor and not be a sin on account of such. But In a nutshell, you know how you can tell, I'm speaking in general now, you know how you can tell whether or not somebody is in your corner and in your circle, as opposed to just you being accepted being in his or her circle, is when you make any kind of move that doesn't hurt him or her, but benefits only yourself. That's when you're called arrogant. That's when you're called self-centered. That's when you called, oh, you just about yourself. Now, what you're doing is not hurting a living soul. It's not hurting an animal. It's not hurting any relative. It's not hurting any siblings. It's not hurting anyone whatsoever. It's not helping them either. But he or she is unhappy with the fact that you're doing something that only helps yourself. Then they're saying that you're about yourself. Those are some of the replies that I got back. So I'm like, wow, okay, now I see what it is. When somebody was there, I'll be your ears and kind of song and dance in that particular case, then it was there. But when you needed you to listen to your own self and you be your own ears, then that's a problem. Then you're neglecting, and and what happened? Nothing happened. Just needed a little time for oneself. And that's what it is with that. It's healthy, brothers and sisters. Short temper and easy to provoke. When you find yourself in that kind of matter, everything bothers you. I'm just upset. Rah, rah, rah. Everything. Good morning. Rah, rah, rah. Good evening. Rah, 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 rah. It ain't good. Easily to provoke. That right there is a sign of toxicity, if you will, brothers and sisters. And these are things that we care to sit there and bring out for reference purposes, if we will. Short temper. Solomon said, make no friendship with a man that's quick to anger. It also says that anger rests in the bosom of a fool. So one of the things that a brother personally had to do in taking this short trip that I did recently is I found myself being like, what? Misreading things, misreading a text message, misreading a handshake, misreading faces, if you will, is because you didn't take time, say, for oneself. Short temper and easy to provoke. Why you looking like that? Why you looking like that? No, that is, I hate to have to say it, N-word qualities. Yo, what you looking at? What you looking at like that? That right there is not of peace and love and tranquility, if you will. Taking everything personally. When you find that kind of matter, brothers and sisters, you know, again, it's time to sit there and take that break. If somebody just use Facebook, for instance, if somebody makes a post on anything and you internalize it negatively, then yeah, it may not, the person may not even been thinking about you. But as the saying goes, if the shoe fits, wear it. But what are you going to do when you put on that shoe that fits? Are you going to do what the little image there shows and walk and take your break? Or are you going to sit there and complain about how it fits? Constant overthinking. What I've realized in my short stay, which was a spiritual matter for me, and how this applies, is some of the replies I got back and some of the energies that I was given. I began to sit back and think like, whoa, am I overthinking? And so forth and so on. And this is why it's wise. I know I find it to be wise to ask people, what do you think? What do he or she thinks of you? Because see, you can't fake love. You can't sit there and go about and we appear before Elohim, the creator, as Israel, and we think that he doesn't see where the heart and the mind is at. That's why it says, what? Hate not thy brother in your heart. It don't say don't hate your brother in your eyes, don't hate your brother in your face, don't hate your brother with your handshake, because you can sit there and have a cool eye. You can sit there and have a cool handshake. You can sit there and have good words, but in your heart, where your mind is at, is what the Torah is talking about. Hate not thy brother. In other words, your friend, your people, your sister as well, in your heart. And these are things that we want to sit there and point out for reference purposes. If you cannot be happy for somebody doing something that benefits him or her, then you got hatred. When you are progressing in something and you're not stepping on people and hurting people to get this progress done, you will begin to see who is in your corner and who is in your circle, whether physically, spiritually, mentally, or otherwise. Because they're not going to take it personally as if, oh, you just did what you did and you didn't want to have nothing to do with me and we're family and we're supposed to do things together. And whoa, you can miss me with that kind of mentality. That right there is toxic, brothers and sisters. Emotionally overwhelmed, always exhausted, or always tired. That right there, I found to be very true. So, this is not to sit there and abash or disrespect or offend anyone, brothers and sisters. But this is something that we may want to sit there and take a look at. Now, of course, that's not me in the picture there, but I want to sit there and show this was me on the bus when I did my trip. And I'm asking you all to subscribe to the channel. Where I went is in a place in New York. And as you can see there, the trees there, the mountains there, the beautiful sky, and so forth. That was me with the carriage that I went, the little luggage cart. And it felt good doing it. I learned something yesterday, more than I learned, I think, since I've been 40. In the past 4 years, I've learned more yesterday. And that is take time for yourself. Hey, brother, when you going to write the next book? Hey, brother, hold on. Do you even advertise a brother's book while you asking when the next one's coming? But that's neither here nor there. Hey, brother, when's the next class? Hey, brother and sister, if you look on the channel and platforms, I got over 50 Hebrew classes. So if a brother decides to fall back from doing it, please don't take it personal. If a brother is saying, don't invite me to your camp, it's not saying that I don't want to sit there and greet you. It means that one needs one's time for oneself. And the people we read about in the camps, such as the prophet Moses, such as King David, such as the prophet Elijah, they did those kind of things in that particular case. You understand? You know when you have to find yourself being defensive against false accusations is when you know you got to just sit there and be like, you know what? I know my truth. That energy right there is toxic, where you always finding yourself consistently apologizing, consistently having to sit there and try to prove a point to show what your truth is. Short temper and easy to provoke. Taking everything personally. Constant overthinking. When you find brothers and sisters like the prophet Jonah, he prophesied to Nineveh and then he sat up on a rock or so and just said, I'm going to sit there and just watch. That's a hater. Jonah was a hater of Nineveh in so many words. That's not love right there. You understand? And like I said, I found out a whole lot. Like it says, test a friend and be not hasty to credit him. When you, whoever you are, cannot be happy that somebody is doing something that benefits him or her while not hurting anybody else, you're toxic. Separate from that energy. Doesn't mean separate from a person or people. It means separate that energy from yourself. Let's conclude. Signs you need a break. Losing interest in things you're usually passionate about and bring you joy. Short temper and easy to provoke. Taking everything personally. Constant overthinking. Emotionally overwhelmed. Always exhausted, tired. Take care, friends. Take a break. With that, hopefully everybody is well and will be better. Shalom.